Coach, what position battles right now have kind of caught your eye?
To be honest, I don't know if it's one specific position. I think the thing I've been most impressed with is just how we have practiced. You know, it's different right now because we're able to sustain our competitive aspect of practice for all three groups that get in, and for the length of practice, for 2 hours or however long we're out here. So that's the thing that's probably stood out to me most. I mean, you guys know, obviously, we lost some defensive ends, so we got to find that, and you know, we've talked about that stuff, I think, a lot. But I don't know if there's, you know, a position or a guy that in a competitive situation or a position battle is standing out. The thing that probably I'm noticing the most is just our level of competitive juice at practice. You know, in the past we've had a period where the defense would dominate, or we have a period where the offense would dominate. And right now it's like back and forth every period, which we're getting a lot out of it.
You guys have really emphasized turnovers with this secondary since the spring, and probably even before then. Have you seen that start to kind of take shape this game?
It showed up today. You know, it showed up today for sure. You know, my thing is, if you run to the ball, good things are going to happen. Whether it's recovering a fumble, whether it's gang tackling, whether it's a tip pass interception. If we can just run to the ball, all 11 guys on the field, take a lot of pride in how we do that. We've been showing the guys clips every single night of effort plays, whether it's NFL, college, whatever it is, of just extraordinary effort plays. And if we can get all 11 guys playing like that, we're going to be difficult to deal with.
How do you define an effort play?
It's the thing that would stand out to all of us. It's the backside defensive end that doesn't take it for granted that somebody else is going to make the tackle, and he sprints 65 yards down the field on an angle, and right when that receiver sticks his foot in the ground, or running back sticks his foot in the ground to cut back, he's there to make the play. Or somebody else is making a tackle, the ball comes out, and now the defensive end is there to make the tackle. It's that above and beyond play. We got to have great effort on every single play with everybody running to the ball, but it's that guy that say, I'm never going to take a play off, because the moment when the opportunity comes, I'm going to be ready.
James, you guys self-evaluate every offseason. Is there anything you're doing approach-wise that's different this preseason than maybe in some previous years? Yeah,
I think probably the biggest thing is in the weight room and on the football field. We've had a bunch of guys that have played a lot of football for us, like Jason Kabinda, for example. We know who Jason Kabinda is, so for him to come out and get 75 reps at practice doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So let's keep him sharp and do the things that we need to do for his development, also for our defensive chemistry. But I'd make the argument the reps that we're going to invest in the number 2, the number 3, the number 4 is more valuable. So we're doing the same thing in the weight room. A redshirt senior should not be training the same way as a freshman. We have levels in how we do it. So I think that's probably the biggest difference, is those guys that we know who they are as football players and as young men, you know, keeping them sharp, but really investing time in the development of the other guys.
James, you rotated at right guard last year. Is that something you'd like to do again this year, or is that more of a specific thing to last year?
Yeah, no, and I wouldn't even necessarily say we rotated last year. There was issues that you guys aren't always privy to. But yeah, we'd love to play with the same 5 all year long. I don't know if that's realistic in this league, just the way football is. You got to have depth, and that's one of the things I'm excited about, because we do have depth, you know, at each position for the most part. You know, like I've mentioned before, with a guy that we feel like we can win with a guy that's evolving into a guy that we think we can win with, and then a young, exciting player behind him. We pretty much have that at almost every position now.
How's that third-string quarterback spot between Clifford and Zembic going?
I think, you know, that probably should have been my answer to you. Is that's probably the one that, you know, we're still trying to kind of figure out. Zembic is obviously, you know, he's been here longer, he's more seasoned, he's more experienced, you know, got a good feel. But Clifford is you know, Clifford's battling him. Clifford has really attacked this thing all summer. He learns well. The game comes, you know, pretty easy to him. So it's a legitimate battle, and you know, we need more of that around here. You know, we should have guys battling for the 3rd spot, and we hadn't had people battling for the 2nd spot in the past.
James, you've talked a lot about best practices over the past few years. When you look at these teams that have sat
in the top 5 the past 5 years or so. Aside from recruiting, what are the things that they're doing well that everyone else has to do well that you've got to try and replicate if you want to sort of maintain the success of it?
Yeah, I think recruiting is obviously a big part of that. I mean, you look at that, I think that all the data speaks for itself. I think it's a lot of the stuff that you guys don't get a chance to see enough of. It's the development aspect behind the scenes. I think you hear people say your strength coach is probably the most important hire you'll make because of that year-round development and because of the amount of time they spend with these guys, and they're really developing your culture, year-round. And I think we got the best guy in the country for that. I really do. It's stability on your staff and having the ability to retain your staff, and if you lose guys, being able to go out and attract high-level guys to come in and replace them and be ready for that when it happens. To be honest with you, I make the argument it's every single day being willing to fight and battle all the things that you have to fight to keep the program going. You lose a battle here, you lose a battle here, you lose a battle here, and 5 years from now you look back and all those little things added up. So I think those programs that you're talking about are competing at the highest level year in and year out across the board, throughout the program, throughout the university. There's consistency and everybody pulling the rope in the same direction.
James, how is the offensive line progressing, and was Michael Menet at practice here today?
Yes, Michael Menet was at practice today. The offensive line is developing like I thought they would. O-line, D-line, you have guys that roll an ankle, sprain a wrist, whatever it is. So we modify practice for those guys and change some things up. It allows us to rotate guys through. But I'm pleased with the way our O-line and our D-line is battling.
How much value do you put on how a receiver plays without the ball in his hands, and how would you evaluate Hamilton in that regard?
Yeah,
that's part of this game.
I think that's probably the area we spend the most time with. I mean, obviously, I think our players did a great job all offseason on the jugs machine. We've talked a lot about the defensive players, but our offensive guys have been doing that for years. So that's been a real positive. I think one of the things Josh Gaddis has done a really good job the last couple of years is what you're talking about how to create separation in your route running, how to get off of press coverage with your releases, how to set up routes, step and nod, teasing shoulders and things like that. Things that you can do to create separation and make bigger windows for the quarterback and create more yak yards. So,
and Hamilton in that regard?
I think Hamilton right now is having as good of a camp with all of those things that I've seen before. There are bigger guys, there are stronger guys, there are faster guys, but he is as polished and as productive as a wideout as I've been around in a camp setting right now. I think he's going to have a huge year for us.
You've been Ricky Rahne a long time. How's he grown as a coach the most between the time you first met him? It was back in Kansas State, I think, and now. Yeah,
I'm fortunate because I've been with some really good people for a long time. I think you guys know I want to surround myself with really smart guys. Ricky's a real smart guy, played quarterback at Cornell, was a good player, got into coaching, was a GA for me at Kansas State, and I've been fortunate enough that we've been together ever since. I guess we had 1 year where he stayed at Kansas State, but besides 1 year, we've been together for a long time. So he's a guy that I think can coach the running backs and has coached the tight ends and has done it at a very, very high level. I know Mike Gesicki thinks the world of him and what he's been able to do to help him develop. I think he can coach the quarterbacks. I think he's a future coordinator. He's a guy I think you guys know. On spring games, he's a guy that he'll call the offense on the other field with the other guys. So he's been fiercely loyal. He's a relentless recruiter. He gets it. He's a team guy. He doesn't care who gets the credit. We got a great staff, and I'm blessed to work with these guys and have them here.
Two more. Another guy on staff, Spence, you told me that going back to even your time at Vanderbilt, the night before games, breaking down who on the defensive line are going to get a certain amount of snaps, that kind of thing, and rotating those guys in. How far back does that philosophy go with Spence, and how have you kind of seen it grow here?
Well, I think because of our last opportunity, we knew right away one of our challenges was that we would get worn down in the fourth quarter. We'd get worn down late in the season. So how do you create depth? And I think what happens is with coaches, you don't want to play the young player, you know, because the older player that you know what you're going to get, you know, it's easier, you know, and you know, these guys, their job is to develop the young and talented guys, you know, so we have forced that, you know, we have forced that to play guys and get them in the game to gain that experience. So as the season goes on, you have more confidence in playing those guys. It was just something that we were kind of forced to do. I think it also kind of aligns because I think the more people that you have in your locker room that feel like they have a significant role, the better chemistry you have in your locker room. It's no different than anything else. If we got 100, we're going to end up having probably 125 guys in the team, or 121 guys in the team. If a majority of those guys feel like they have a large contribution to the team and to our success, you're going to have a healthy locker room. And if you don't have enough guys involved, then that's going to create some challenges.
Hey James, you've got a lot of different people from different areas to practice. What's your thinking on that, and even doing the media things during the week?
Yeah, I think you know, obviously with I think you guys know we've talked about a lot about relationships. So we are open at practice to a degree. You know, we have people that we have relationships and things like that and call and want to come to practice, and we're fine, but we want to know who they are, and they can't bring people with them without us kind of checking their background. So I want people to come and experience it. I want our players to get that type of support. I want our players to be able to develop relationships in the community and across campus. I want the coaches to do the same thing as well. I think it's really, really important. I think a lot of times people on campus, people in the community think they know what a college practice is like. They think they understand what these guys have to go through and all the challenges that they have to go. So I think them coming and experiencing and seeing it firsthand, there's a lot of value in that. So that's what we try to do. But I'm also a little paranoid as well because I've seen the opposite. I've seen people come and leak information. I was at a school once where their arch rival, the daughter went to school there, and the dorm sat over the practice field, and she filmed the entire practice. You know, so I don't feel real good about that, but that did happen. And you know, so I'm going to make sure I know who's at practice.